Hello, this is Dave Hurwitz, Executive Editor at ClassicsToday.com, here to talk to you about, I'm reaching up for it here, Frederic Rzewski, The People United Will Never Be Defeated! Exclamation point. The exclamation point is part of the title, which tells you that it's like serious stuff, right? What is this thing, huh? Curious. It's the greatest set of piano variations after Beethoven's Diabelli variations. And I'm very, very serious about that. It is a epic, magnificent monument, the piano literature composed in the 1970s, which just goes to show that great, great music is still being written. And I mean, yeah, there are other keyboard monoliths, big, long, crazy, think of that nutcase in the UK, Sorabji, who wrote the Opus Clavicembalisticum and, Contrapunctus Fantasticus Erectus Nonsensicus and all of these other ludicrous things, 375 variations on God Save the Queen, who knows, There are kooky people who write insane, crazy pieces of music, and there are artists of enormous gifts and technical facility with a lot of time on their hands who are willing to learn how to play them, and record companies nutty enough to record them. So yes, there are other things, but I'm talking about musical quality in ways that are measurable. Usually measurable. I mean, by any standard, if you know the Goldberg variations, the Diabelli variations, then The People United Will Never Be Defeated is the next item on your list, or it should be. And you have to get to know it. Now, let me tell you something about how it works, so you'll see just how ingeniously it's put together. And I mean, when you listen to it, you'll realize it's not just construction, it's how it's realized that makes it a work of genius. But first of all, the thing to know is that the tune is a Chilean revolutionary tune. Rzewski has a left-wing political agenda that happily does not get in the way of his musical expression most of the time. And it's a really good tune. Like most great sets of variations, the tune itself is quite simple. Of course, in the Goldberg variations, the tune isn't the subject of the variations at all. It's the bass line, but the concept is still the same. The simple thing is the thing that gets varied because it provides the most opportunity on which to build. So I have my score here, and it's actually a score that's well worth getting because it's fun to follow this piece. It really is as it's played, because it includes all kinds of sort of extended virtuoso piano techniques and interesting sounds and things that contemporary composers get to do with the piano, while also being just a virtuoso masterpiece of the first rank. But the tune, the basic tune, which I could even sing, we're going to listen to it in a minute, but I'm going to sing it anyway just to show you how easy it is. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. The people united will never be defeated. Not perfect, maybe, but you get the general idea, right? That's the essential bit of the tune. It's actually a much longer tune than that, as you'll hear shortly. But the way that Rzewski constructed this piece is as follows. There are 36 variations, and each group of variations exploits a different aspect of piano technique. And we don't have to go into what those aspects are because, or musical qualities, not just piano technique, but, counterpoint or harmony or melody or, things like that. And, the notes to these recordings will tell you what those are if you want to check them out. You don't have to deal with that. But the point is this. Each group of 6 is organized by concept. The 6th variation in the group is a summary of the previous 5. But then, when you get to the last set of 6, that is numbers 31 through 36, each one of those is a summary of the previous position in the previous groups of variation. That is, 31 is all of the ones. 32 is all of the second variations in the previous batch. 33 summarizes all of the third variations in all the previous batches. And then at the end, there's a grand summation, which also allows an opportunity for the soloist to improvise a cadenza that can go for 5 or 6 minutes, and sometimes does, if that's what they want to do. And then the theme returns triumphantly to round off the piece. Now, I know that sounds perhaps mechanical and complicated, but the point isn't that there's this, sort of formulaic approach at the base. Bach's was no less in the Goldberg variations. Every third variation is a canon. He did it in a way that structures all of the variations as they progress. Rzewski does it too. And the reason that it works so well isn't because he's following a rigid formula. It's because this kind of structure allows you to engage with the music in a larger way than just hearing little sectional bits. Variation form is very, very sectional. There's one variation, then another, then another. And so smart composers group them in certain ways. And Rzewski's done that here. He's done it by grouping them in sections of 6 variations. But beyond that, you want to have certain recalls, mnemonic, that's the word, devices that activate your memory as the work proceeds, so that you have a sense that they're all related and all united, even if you don't hear the tune. Get it? The people united. The variations are united. They're all linked in a way, and because bits of the tune or other timbral qualities or rhythmic qualities return at various points, your memory is constantly engaged with the ongoing evolution of the work. And that's what makes it great, because when you hear it as music, you're not conscious of the fact that Rzewski's basically working out this incredibly intricate structure. What you're conscious of is the fact that, oh, I've heard something like that before, or that sounds familiar, or I know what that is. And because of that, you feel at home in this large work, which can play for about an hour. It usually plays around 55 minutes or so, and that's why it's an amazing experience to listen to it without a single dull second. It's just brilliant. And so you really need to hear it for yourself. And it's been very well recorded. I'm very excited to say there have been many recordings. Now, Rzewski himself has recorded it twice. His best recording was on the Hat Art label, which is now defunct, and you probably can't find it. But happily, there are many others as well. One of the best was Canadian pianist Corey Hamm, whose version I believe is now only available as a download. That was on the Redshift label, but you could look it up and put it on your iPhone like I did, and you'll be extremely happy. Now, I said that the work itself is the greatest set of variations since the Diabellis. It goes with the Goldbergs, the Diabellis, and Rzewski, the big three, Well, Igor Levit agrees with me, because he issued a recording on Sony, a superb collection that contains him playing the Goldberg variations, the Diabelli variations, and The People United Will Never Be Defeated. So if you want to see if I'm right and have an opportunity to listen to all 3 variation sets in excellent performances by the same artist, Igor Levit has done it. The other really great recordings, there are 2 of them actually, that I want to talk about. One of them is Marc-André Hamelin on Hyperion. This is just like his Alcon recordings and Godowski and all the other wild virtuosic piano stuff he's done. This is just superb. And it's a wonderful piece for Hamelin because he actually, the virtuosity as usual with him is never an end in itself. It's always the piece of music, the structure, the feeling, the expression, and he projects the music with a certain ease and comfort that's quite remarkable. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous recording, and he does a 6-minute improvisation at the end. And believe me, Hamelin improvising is something to hear. However, there is one recording that I have to recommend above all the others, probably, just because of its special relationship to this particular work. The piece was commissioned by Ursula Oppens, who has specialized in contemporary music all of her life, an absolutely splendid artist. She made the first recording that was released on the Vanguard label, but she re-recorded it recently for Cedille Records, and it is a knockout. It's an absolutely stunning performance. Now, this is an artist who has the longest standing relationship of anybody, because she played the premiere in the mid-70s, and she's in fabulous form technically, and this time she includes an improvisation, not a terribly long one a la Hamelin, more a sensitive and thoughtful one. And it's a magnificent, magnificent performance, an absolutely gorgeous sound. And I have permission, thank God, from the label to play you a bit of it. I'm going to let you hear the tune so you get a sense of what you're in for. And then I'm going to let your imagination take flight as you join Frederic Rzewski in this incredible journey on the theme of the people united will never be defeated. Here's the music. Fabulous stuff, huh? I mean, doesn't it make you curious to see what can be made of it? Get this piece, find out for yourself, and keep on listening. Thank you, and take care.